G'day guys, it's Adam Miles from the Miles Trials here, and in this episode we're going to be taking you through a run through of how to play Cobras from Chris and Suzanne Zinsley. You can see the game. I've just started to initially set up a bit of a 3-player game to walk you through here. So this is a trick-taking game. Typically plays in around about the half hour to 45-minute time once you're familiar with the rules and you're well and truly underway. But given a typical trick laying game, you're playing for points, and the game will end when somebody gets to 100 points. So each player that plays has their basket card, which is made up of the two cards you put together. It's just on the left-hand side gives you your points based on tricks, based on the number of Cobras that you have in your basket at the time that you win a trick. You will score. So if I had 5 Cobras in my basket and I was to win the trick that's being played, I'm going to score myself 11 points. And everybody's got their little unique tracker, which moves, you're just covering over, you're circling the score. When you're getting over the 50 points, you just flip the card over here as you track your way up to 100, and you can even, on the other side of this beautiful little circle, you can 51 points. Everybody's got their baskets, and we have a pool of Cobra chips within easy reach. And if you've seen the unboxing video, you'll note that we have a deck of 4 suits: red, yellow, blue and green. And the suits are cards that range from 1 all the way through to 13. But in addition to the number value, so the cards will each have, this one has 1 Cobra on it. Some of the other cards, you'll have cards with 2 Cobras, and then the higher cards, which I believe are 10 and above, 10 to 13, will have the 3 Cobras on them. Now, Cobras are important, as I said before, because the more Cobras you have, this is a balancing game where you sometimes you're wanting to lose tricks to get you Cobras into your basket, and then when you have enough Cobras, the tipping point is 7. That's when you want to strike and win the next trick if you can. So pretty simple and elegant gameplay. You have your 4 suit cards, 52 card deck, and we deal those out, the full hand out to everybody. Okay, so everyone's got their hand, or their deck of cards that has been dealt to them. In addition to the hand, everybody also gets these black King Cobra cards. Everybody's entitled to have 1 King Cobra card, and the rules state you deal out all the cards and then give everybody a King Cobra, and they can include that into their hand. Now, before the very first game, well, the first round is played, the game is played over a series of rounds. Each player is to look at their hand and decide to burn a card to generate Cobras. Basically a starting supply of Cobras in your basket. And for the argument's sake, let's just decide that I decide to burn this red 5. We have a discard pile, which I'm going to create just at the top here. We'll use that as our discard pile. Our green player, my wife Valerie, she decides to burn a yellow 10. So you put the starting Cobras. So she had the yellow 10, which has the 3 Cobras on it. So 3 Cobras straight away into her basket. As we said, I had the red 5. So that puts 2 Cobras in my basket. Oh, I'll put my score back onto 0. And my son over here in yellow, he's deciding to start off with a safe game. So he's going to discard the red 4. And he just wants to start with the 1 Cobra. So as I said before, the game is played over a series of rounds. The rules state that the person who most recently saw a snake goes first. And let's just, for argument's sake, assume that that was me. And I play the first trick. Now, just like all trick-taking games, the person who goes first the card that they lead is the card that determines the suit. So just to see what is out there, I decide I'm going to throw out the 5 green and make that's the suit of choice. So the suits are green Cobras and I'm playing a 5. Now the highest number will win this trick. However, I said at the start, this is a game where you don't always want to win tricks. You want to balance winning tricks versus losing tricks, because every time you lose a trick, you will get more Cobras put into your basket. So the rule of this is I've played with the green, so you must, the primary rule in this game is that you must follow suit. So my wife Valerie must play a green card if she has a green card in her hand, remaining in her hand. If she does not, then she can throw out any other card, or even at any time she can play the King Cobra card, which I will get to what that does in a moment. But in this instance, let's just say my wife decides that 3 Cobras is not enough in her basket and she doesn't want to win this trick, so she decides she's going to go under and she plays a 4 of green Cobras. And my son, who's a sneaky devil as well, doesn't want to win this trick either, so he can see it with a 3, but quickly skim through his hand. No, he doesn't have it. He's actually only got 3 more green cards. But he certainly doesn't want to win this trick because he only has the 1 Cobra in his basket at the moment. So ideally he wants to lose this trick as well. So he decides to play the green 3 out there. Like so. Discard pile. So as you can see, unfortunately, even though I was hoping somebody would be forced to play a higher card, I've actually won this trick. So kudos for me to winning the trick. I scoop up, based on the number of Cobras that are in my basket will determine how many points that I score. So I have 2 Cobras in my basket, so winning this trick has earned me 3 points. Not too bad. I move my little circle marker over the 3, like so, and the other penalty or consequence of winning the trick is I must empty my basket of all my Cobras. So my 2 Cobras that I started the game with have now gone into the supply over here. Beautiful. Got myself 3 points, but I've emptied my basket. So until I can get more Cobras in my basket, if I can't keep winning tricks, I'm actually not going to be scoring any points. And like I said at the start, we'll win this game as soon as I get to 100 points. So now I need to start to lose. Having said that, the consequence for the people that lose a trick is they grow. All the Cobras that were played then get distributed across the remaining players. So we count up the Cobras, 1, 2, 3, 4 Cobras. We divide that as evenly as possible amongst the players, in which case 2 other players here means 2 other Cobras per person will go into their basket. If there were any remainders, the remaining Cobras will stay in the snake pit for distribution with the next trick. The discard cards then get swept up into the discard pile. Oh, I should say, if there were any 3-card Cobras that were played in the trick, they wouldn't be put into the discard pile. The 3-card Cobras are kept face up next to the discard pile, because once we have revealed our 10th 3-card Cobra, this round ends. We scoop up all the cards, all the discard cards, shuffle them up, and we play again. So we don't have any, let me move that back for argument's sake. The winner of the previous trick is also then the lead player with the next round. So we're back to me. I won that trick and I decide what we need to do now. Now, as we said before, I don't have any more snakes in my basket, so I really don't want to win this next trick. So I've decided to go as low as possible. I'm going to play my 1 blue, and I'm pretty confident I'm not going to win this trick. My wife looks at her cards. She decides she could win this with a 4 or a 5. She's actually already got 5 snakes in her basket. So we have a look at a spare card here. If she wins this trick, this is going to net her 11 points. If she loses it, She's not going to obviously score any points, but she will also earn more snakes in her basket. But she really only wants to get, ideally, 2 snakes. No more than 2 more snakes added into the basket, and then win the next trick for her. If she gets 3, she's going to tip down to the 15 points for having snakes, 8 snakes. And if she gets 9 or more, then she's going to start to lose her earning potential for winning the next trick will drop down to 8. And then as soon as you have more than 10 Cobras in your bag, the most you can earn when you win a trick is 3. So you want to try to cash in and win the trick when you get to the 6, 7 or 8. So she's at 5 at the moment, and there's 1 Cobra there. So ideally, she doesn't really want to win this one either. She's thinking, you know, she's got a couple of high value cards in all of the suits except for green. I know she's got the 13 of green, the 13 of yellow, the 13 of red. She doesn't really have a high blue. She's got an 11, which might cover it. So she's going to keep the Cobras light and play the 4. And again, try to lose this and hope that Kaylin is left with no option but to win this trick. Kaylin looks at his hand. He must follow suit, so he has to play with his blue Cobras, and he can actually throw out here as well. Kaylin's only got the 3 Cobras in his basket, so for him, he really doesn't want to score just yet either. So he makes the decision to lose this hand and decides to go under the 4 as well and throws out the 3 blue. This means my wife Valerie, she's won the trick. Not what she wanted, but with 5 snakes in her basket, she, by winning this trick, has earned herself 11 points. She moves her score marker down to the 11 and circles the 11, and she loses all of the snakes in her basket. So she's emptied her basket as well. Kaylin and I both lost this round, and we have 1, 2, 3 snakes that we need to distribute evenly. That, in effect, gives Kaylin 1 more Cobra, myself 1 more Cobra, and the remaining Cobra goes into the snake pit for distribution with the next round. Again, no 3 Cobra cards were played. They go into a discard pile, and the leading trick winner starts off the next trick. Valerie finds herself in the same situation as me, not really wanting to win. So she decides to throw out a lead yellow 2 and hopes that, well, she's pretty much assured that she's not going to win this, but we'll have to wait and see exactly how it plans out. So Kaylin doesn't have any choice. He's going to automatically win this, but ideally he wants to try to fatten up his basket of snakes himself, so he decides to play as close to that 2 as possible and decides to play a yellow 4. He's currently winning it, but it's up to me. Now, the primary rule is I must follow suit. So if I have a yellow, I'm going to have to play this, which means I'm winning it. Oh, but I've got the 1, which means I can actually sneak under, and I've got the 3 and the 7. So I'm actually looking at sitting in a pretty good position here. I could force Kaylin to win this trick by getting under it, and I'm going to keep my 1 up my sleeve, so in case I ever need to play a low yellow again and lose, and I'm going to play the yellow 3, which means that Kaylin has now won that trick. It's not what he wanted to do, but we've all had to win tricks when we haven't wanted to, so this is where the game's bit of jibs and jabs occurs throughout, as you are jostling, I guess, to sometimes lose the hands as much as you are jostling to win the right trick at the right time. Kaylin, with the 4 snakes in his basket, winning the trick, scores himself 8 points and loses all of his Cobras. We move him on to the 8 points. 3 Cobras plus the other one here. It makes 4 Cobras in total. The 1 surplus from the previous round means that each of us have earned ourselves 2 into our basket. And now the game is afoot. That is pretty much the general gameplay. As I said, you keep going around and around the table until the first player has earned themselves 100 points. We didn't actually do in those first 3 rounds, we didn't actually play any 3 Cobra cards, I should say. But in a round, let's just, for argument's sake, say the next round was led with Kalen and he decides to throw out a red 10, and then that causes me to throw out the red 9, get under it, and my wife throws out the red 13 and decides to win and net herself another 3 points. Now she scores her 3 points, moves up to 14. We have 6, 7, 8 Cobras here, which means we divide. We would each get, Kalen and I will each get 4 Cobras. 1, 2, 3, 4 in mine, and 1, 2, 3, 4 in my son's basket. Now, I'm in the sweet spot. I've got 7 Cobras, so whatever happens, I really want to win this next trick, because if I do, when you win a trick and you have 7 Cobras in your basket, you score yourself 21 points. If I don't win this next trick, it's going to mean I've got Cobras coming my way. And if I'm getting 1 or 2 Cobras, I'm seriously A, chipping away my points, but also B, losing the opportunity to net myself a good score booster of 21 points. At the conclusion of this particular round, we've played ourselves 2 cards with 3 Cobras on it. All the other cards without the 3 Cobras get put into the discard, and the 3 Cobra cards stay up to the left to identify that we have now played 2 3 Cobra cards. If at the end of a trick there are 10 or more 3 Cobra cards up next to the discard pile, that means the end of the round. All of the discards are shuffled up and everybody's hands are taken back, and we start a new round by dealing out everybody's cards again. Keeping in mind that the players can use, we don't shuffle out the King Cobra cards, everybody keeps their King Cobra card.